Hey everybody, welcome back. Jesse here for 3Prong Gaming. In last episode, we got started on our player controller. We got our move forward, move backwards, and we got some references here in the event big gameplay. If you need to get caught up, video should be playing up here in the top left corner. Go ahead and click on that, get caught back up. Alright, let's get started. This should be a relatively quick and easy tutorial. We're going to do a lot of copy and pasting in this, but we should be able to get a decent amount done. So first, let's go ahead and select all this. Push C, yeah, that almost slipped out bad. Let's call this movement X. Alright, so like I said, pretty much all this is going to be copy and paste. So go ahead and select everything here. Deselect by holding Control and drag over that. Deselect your movement X. Push Control C. Come down here, push V. Alright, so now we need our move right. Grab the access event. Put that in there. Let's go ahead and plug that into the branch. Alright, now we're going to need another macro like the movement X. So let's go ahead and create another one here. We'll call this move. Did I spell that right? Movement Y. Go back up in here to our movement X. Select everything but the input and output. Push Control C. Come back into your movement Y and push Control V. Slide our inputs around and our output. Move over here. Let's go ahead and drag our values in here. Top one first, put that in there like that. Second one, drag it in here. Third one in here, and we're going to have to reattach this one, but it'll create the pin for us. I'll show you why here in just a second. Let's rename this axis. Second one was move sensitivity. And this one is speed multiplier. And last one is camera. We need to take it off of actor. You could probably leave it as an actor, but we're going to change it anyways just because. So let's do camera pawn. And it's going to detach itself. Just take it, drag it, and put it back in. Alright, let's go ahead and drag the transform into the output. Call it transform, and the only thing we need to change in here is this was for the X, so we need to take it to the Y, so hold Control and drag the pin down to Y, and that is it. Compile, save it. Go ahead and give you guys can't compile it, not yet, but take a pause break, take a look at it. Alright, let's go ahead and head back into the event graph. The reason why we couldn't compile it is because we haven't set it out here yet. Grab our movement Y, drag, drop it, take our axis, and let's just go ahead and plug all this in like that. Take our transform, plug it in there, hit compile now, save it, and there it is, just like the last one. Let's go ahead and play just to test it. We got our move forward, move backwards. Now we got our move left and move right. We can move diagonally as well. Perfect. Moving just like we want to. Go ahead and select everything. Push C. That is push C. And movement. I didn't realize before how much that sounded like it shouldn't have sounded. Alright, let's go ahead and do our panning now. This panning should be relatively easy. Let's compile it, save it. Let's go in here. We need to go into our project settings. Select inputs. Now we need an action mapping. Hit the plus, expand it down here. Let's call this one pan, and we will make it middle mouse button. Select that. Go ahead and go back into your camera controller. Now we need a reference to our pawn. Get it. We need, let's go ahead and do pan, action event. There's that. And we need to make a new variable. This one we will call pan sensitivity. Hit enter. Now we need to compile it so it says default value, which we will do as 5. Now what this pan sensitivity is going to be is just like up here. Well, here, let me show you. We're going to need mouse X. Go ahead and do mouse X, but we need the mouse event, mouse X. Alright, this event right here gives us an axis value just like up here on move right, and it is a normalized number, -1 to +1. And so we need a multiplier on that, because if you leave it just at that, it's going to move really slow. So that's what this pan sensitivity does. 5 seems to be a decent number for me, but let's go ahead and mark this as editable, because you may want to create this as like a user option and setting later on down the road. Compile it. Let's go ahead and drag in our pan sensitivity, set in there as a get, just like that. All right, so now we need to go ahead and multiply float times float. Take the axis value there, plug that in just like so. Now drag off of here. This panning is a rotation, so what we need is we need to get actor rotation. There we go. Set that out up there. Try to keep things all nice and neat. Now we need to come out here and go break rotation, break rot. Pull this out here, and then we're gonna need to come over here and let's just make rot. There it is. Okay, now this first one, since it's an X, what it's going to be is it's going to be the yaw. So that's the only value we're going to change. So just take the pitch, plug that in, take the roll, plug that in. Now what we need to do is we need to come down here off of the yaw, drag it, hit plus. We need to do float plus float. Take our multiplied value right here, drag it into the bottom. So now it's going to add this value, which is 5 times the axis value, into the yaw. Take that, plug that in there just like so. Alright, so now this is where our disable Cam Nav comes in. So let's go ahead and alt click and drag our, that didn't work for some reason. Control W, let's put 2 of them in here. From the pressed value, go ahead and put in the set, released into this set. So now when our pan button is pressed, we want to disable camera navigation. When it's released, we want to unset it, so that way we want to be able to move. So this will make it so we can't move any direction when we're panning. Just, it feels for me, you don't have to do this, but it makes it feel a little more fluid for me, a little more less car sick, I guess you could say. All right, we need a gate here. Enter a gate. If you haven't used these before, what this is, the enter value is what we want to exit. So whether it's a tick, or in this case, the move X, which is essentially like a tick, we want to take this and put this into the enter. Now what's going to open this gate? What's going to open this gate is when we press the button, we open it. So now this X is going to go through the gate and hit the exit and do whatever we have out here. Now when we release it, we want to close this gate, meaning this X will no longer exit the gate. So outside of the gate, what we want, let's go ahead and drag another camera reference in here. Get it. We need to set actor rotation. Drag it up here like so. Let's go ahead and plug in the rotation we just made into the bottom of that. Drag the exit into here. And that is it. That's all we've got to do for this. So now every time we press the mouse button, it'll open up this gate, set its actor rotation to what we just did up into here. So go ahead and drag there. C. I'm going to learn. I'm not going to say that. Let's call this pan X. Let's go ahead and test it. I like to test as much as possible whenever we can have a visible difference in the screen. So now holding the middle mouse wheel, see, just like that, perfect. Now I'm pushing forward, backwards, left, and right, and I can't move while panning. But if I'm let go of the middle mouse wheel, all of a sudden it goes. All right, that's just what we want. Awesome. Now this is going to be essentially exactly the same. So let's go ahead and select all this again. Deselect mouse X. This is really going to be the only thing we need to change from this. Control V. Right click, we need mouse Y. Again, we need the mouse event. Select that, put that in there. Let's go ahead and plug that into the enter and take the axis value, plug it into the multiply. Now this is going to be the pitch. So go ahead and just take your yaw, plug it in just like so. Take your pitch, plug it into the addition, and the output of the addition into the top pitch. Now there is a bug with this. Go ahead and comment this, pan Y. There's a bug with this, and rather than having just fixed the bug, I knew the bug before we did it, I figured it's better to show you what the bug is, and that way you can understand what's going on and know why we need to fix it. Let's go ahead and compile it and save it. Press play. Alright, so perfect. See, we can move around. Well, here's this. This is why. This is one bug. There's actually two bugs with this. This is one of them. See how funky that gets? So what we need to do is we need to come back into here. Select this. Let's move this over. What we need to do is we need to clamp this value. Go ahead and drag off that. Do clamp float. Alright, now even though our sphere starts out at a -70, when we play the game it actually sees it as 0 because that's our starting value. So we want to go no more than a -15 from where it's at, which -70 plus the 15 means we can only go up to -85. So it's almost a completely vertical line of sight, but not quite. And then a maximum, let's do 45. So which means we'll be at about an angle of about, what is that, 25 degrees. Take this, plug that into the pitch, just like so. Press compile, save. Now we still have another bug in this. I'll show you that right here after we ensure that this fixes. Alright, everything seems to work. Now, we're panned at this angle. If we press up, watch our sphere, it's going up. If we push down, watch, we're actually going to go below the surface. That is not a desirable effect. Now, the reason for this is actually pretty simple. What we need to do is we need to go into, let's go back here, we need to open up our camera pawn. Now if you remember back here in the viewport, the sphere, I told you I wanted to set it at 100 above the level. Now this 100 doesn't have anything to do with the effect you were just seeing, okay? But let's go ahead and minus this out, put that at 0. Now even if we were to play again, it would do the exact same thing, okay? But let's go ahead and push compile, save, close out our camera pawn, and let's go back into the controller. It doesn't matter if you put this in the X or the Y. We're just going to go ahead and put this in the X because it's probably the best place to put it. Well, not the best place, it's just where I'm putting it. The problem we were having is, excuse me, not the pan X, we need to do it in the move X. The problem we're having is when we set in the move Y and the move X, we use this transform direction, and that keeps track of whichever way the camera's facing is the X or the Y. It doesn't matter which way. It doesn't follow the world axes. It follows the camera axes. So by doing that, when we tilt back like that, the new X is actually upward at the 45 degree or whatever degree angle you're at. So we need to go into the event graph. We need to change that. This is kind of convoluted, you know, but this is just what you got to do. So let's go ahead and break that. Oops. Break that, drag off of here. We need to break the transform. Come in here. We need to break this location. Break the vector on the location. What we need is now make vector. Make vector. Okay. And just plug the X into the X, the Y into the Y, and leave the Z. But what we need to do with the Z, now you can leave this at 0. Like I said, you don't need to have your sphere float 100 units above the ground, but I like it, so I'm putting 100 just like I had in the sphere. There it is right there. So now, just go ahead and slide this over. We need to make transform. Go ahead and plug these pins into the transform because we're not going to change any of those. We'll just slide it up there. I don't like all these pins crossing, but you can't really tell what it looks like from there. Go ahead and slide this out of the way. Plug in the new transform and cover it up with a comment. Compile, save. Let's play it. Alright, there we go. Now we stay at a constant value 100 above the landscape. Perfect. So that fixes it right there. Makes it kind of long, kind of weird and tedious that we have to do it like that, but hopefully by showing you guys what the bug was, you understand it. So the reason why I removed it from the camera pawn is because we're adding 100 right here. Now I could have left it on the sphere at 100 and then just kept this Z at 0s and it still would have floated at 100, but I'll just put it right here. It's a little easier to see. Alright, one last thing I want to go ahead and accomplish in this video is I want to put in a reset for this panning of the Y, just so you can go back to its default settings. So let's go back to the project settings. Under action mappings, let's go ahead and add a new one. We'll call this one pan reset. Again, we'll use the middle mouse button, and this time though we're going to click for the Alt. Alright, so that way when you press Alt, middle mouse wheel, it'll activate the pan reset. Go ahead and go back into your player controller. Alright, let me see where we're at here. This is relatively easy. Let's go ahead and right click in here. Let's do pan reset. Drop that down. We need the camera pawn reference again. Let's drag that in here. Go ahead, we need get actor rotation. There it is. Break. We need to break the rotation. And then we're going to come right over here and we're just going to make a rotation. Now, since we are messing with the Y, all we want to do is reset the Y. We don't want to reset the X. We are messing with the pitch. All right, the Y is the pitch. So just take your yaw, plug it straight in, take your roll, plug it straight in, and we will leave this value at 0 because, like I said, even though our sphere is at -70, it's considered 0 when you start. So if you set the pitch to 0, it's going to go back to its default start value, which in our case is -70. So just kind of clean up the nodes here a little bit. Now when it's pressed, we want to set actor rotation. There it is right there. Drag this out, drag our new rotation into that, pressed into there. And just to clean things up, let's double click the line to add a reroute node. And there it is, just like that. So go ahead and take a look at that. Pretty simple. Go ahead and comment this, call this pan reset. Drag this over a little bit so we can see it. Now let me go ahead, I didn't give you guys a pause break for this, so go ahead and check that out. Perfect. Pan X, pretty much the same thing. Let's compile it, save it, press play, and there we go. We're panning down. Again, remember I can't move forward while I'm holding the middle mouse wheel. I can move forward, but as soon as I push the middle mouse wheel, it stops. Let go of the middle mouse wheel, and it continues to go. Now, I want to reset to my default value. Hold Alt, press the middle mouse wheel. There we go. Scroll up like that, so we're at about 85 degrees. Alt, middle mouse wheel. Always setting us back to default right there. Perfect. That is awesome. That was pretty easy stuff right there. I think we've probably only got one, maybe two more videos for this player controller to get our movements down. Maybe one. I might be able to cram it into one. I'd like to do maybe our speed multiplier. You know what? I think we're at about 18 minutes right now. This is pretty easy. Let's just go like this. Right click, left, shift. Keyboard event, left shift. Set this up here. Now what we need is we need our fast move multiplier. Go ahead and drag it out here. We need to set it. We need it twice, so Control W. Now when it's pressed, we want to set our fast move multiplier to 2. When it's released, we want to set it to 1. 1 is our default value, so that's where we want it at. Drag it there like this, drag it there like that. So now when we hold the shift button down, we will be able to move faster in the world. Compile, save it, play. All right, moving forward, hold the left shift, and we go faster. Left shift, let go. Back, just like that. There we go. See, it's working pretty good. That's exactly what we needed. You can change this value whatever you want, 1.5, 2, whatever works best for you. Comment that. We'll call it Move Multiplier. Awesome. 20-minute video. Under 20-minute video. Got to be happy with that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do me a favor, go down and hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button while you're down there liking it. Go ahead and check out one of the other videos that are playing on screen. You probably got the next video up there. Hopefully I got a couple videos tied in back to back. Until the next video, peace.